Hello, welcome to today's presentation, The Risk Management Process and Overview. My name is Wanda Hopkins, and I'm a graduate student at Wake Forest University School of Professional Studies. As a graduate student in the Enterprise Risk Management program, it is my pleasure to share with you all introductory information today about the risk management process. If I were to ask you and your managers the questions on this slide, could you all respond with confidence? What business operations are at most risk due to systemic vulnerabilities? How are you protecting your critical assets and information? And why should you consider an integrated approach to risk management? Do you think you would be satisfied with the responses you were provided? If not, would you like to know more about the risk management process and understand the benefits of integrating security into a comprehensive risk management framework for your organization? The risk management process will help you answer these three questions. It can help you to identify and analyze risk. It can help you treat unacceptable risk and summarize risk findings and help you make informed decisions collaboratively. An editor at the Computer Security Division of the National Institute of Standards and Technology, known as NIST, puts it this way, and I quote, "The most effective way to protect information and information systems is to integrate security into every step of the system development process, from the initiation of a project to develop a system to its disposition." And that's by Raddick, 2009. It is important to start at the beginning of the risk management process. Start early and include all the key players, no shortcuts. Understanding the roles and responsibilities in this process is the first step, and what governance will look like. And that should be clear to everyone involved to obtain the most benefits. An overview of the risk management process. The key benefits are it provides strategic insights, results in positive business impact, improves responsiveness, and involves information asset inventory. But how do you get this process going? A system development life cycle, also known as a SDLC, is an approach for designing and implementing systems. And for cybersecurity, a waterfall model of the SDLC approach is helpful because it involves using a starting point and considering how the information and decisions made in one phase will fall over or build into the next phase. It provides a comprehensive approach where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, as they say, versus a responsive or reactive approach based on reactions to threats as they occur that will result in a piecemeal plan. Next, let's look at the phases of the risk management process. There are 6 key phases. The first is establishing the context. It's important that you take time to understand the organization's internal and external operating environments, culture, vision, and strategic goals. The second step is to identify risk, and that's going to consist of an inventory of assets and information that must be organized in a meaningful system, in a meaningful way. Information assets are then assigned a value that allows for identifying vulnerabilities from specific threats. In the third phase, analyzing risk, one must consider the likelihood and impact should an asset be compromised by an attack. In this phase, you would also consider What controls are available to mitigate vulnerabilities and document findings of identified and assessed risks. In the fourth stage, to evaluate risk, executives must consider the key assets measured against the determined risk levels and the organization's overall risk appetite, given the risk tolerance for each individual asset. And in the fifth stage, we start treating unacceptable risk. And this will look like including selecting, implementing, and monitoring controls to mitigate the prioritized threats. And finally, in the sixth phase, it's important to document the steps and outcomes of the risk management process as a record of what has been done and its effectiveness so that additional measures can be considered as needed. On this graphic screen, I have provided you a top-down look at how risk can be prioritized during this process. Risks are ranked using risk matrices, or what we call heat maps, that align with your organization's specific risk appetite and tolerance levels. The risk management process is going to include activities that deliver management and control of risks. It helps to improve organizational decision making by providing improved information. And the value of the overall enterprise risk management framework is that it includes management of all types of risk and not just one type of cybersecurity risks. However, cybersecurity should be considered in every step of the process. And in this top-down approach, at the height of the pyramid, you will see the executive intervention deals with critical risks that demand immediate attention, your biggest threats. In the middle of the pyramid, you're going to be looking at strategic prioritization of high impact, high probability risk that will guide your allocation of resources. And at the bottom of the pyramid, you're looking at ongoing management of those lower level risks through protocols that will be established during the process. The four key takeaways that I want you to leave with today is that this is a dynamic process. Risk management is ongoing, evolving. It's not a static task. Risk analysis does not assign an absolute value or score to a specific vulnerability, but rather it assigns a rating or value that enables your organization to gauge the relative risk, which may change over time. The risk management process requires strategic alignment. Your executive oversight ensures the risk efforts support your strategic goals. Every organization should not adopt the same risk management framework and process. Rather, each should decide what will work best given the mission, values, goals, and other contexts of your organization. Also, the risk management process is a very proactive approach because we're looking at early identification and treatment to minimize any surprises and losses. The likelihood of a threat event is not solely based on historical evidence. Rather, it involves consideration of an adversary's intent and capability when it comes to cybersecurity. And the last takeaway is that ultimately you're going to have enhanced decision making that results from this process with strong governance and technology that improves your choices. The risk management process not only involves the cybersecurity team, but it also must involve IT, management, and users To be effective in risk evaluation and remediation, executive management ultimately has the responsibility to ensure that the risk management process is implemented effectively to help inform decision making. 2 articles and 1 book were used to develop today's presentation, and they're listed on this slide for further review. Thank you for your time and attention today. I certainly look forward to the opportunity to provide you with continued assistance during your organization's risk management process. Email is the best way to reach me should you have additional questions, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you again.